The interesting part that jumped out to me from the report in the Washington Post was that this raid took place one day after Manafort met with investigators from the Senate Intelligence Committee. So now, and I'm speculating here, but there could have been something coming out of that meeting with those investigators, if they spoke to the FBI, which they would have, that prompted the FBI to quickly do a search like that. In this day and age where, emails can be destroyed, and we learned that through the Hillary Clinton investigation. So, the FBI is very aware that they want to, where in the past, if in this type of investigation, you would have given people the chance to produce documents voluntarily or via subpoena. Now, it's different now because things can be destroyed. We've learned that. And so, the timing of this one day after he met with Senate Intelligence Committee members or investigators could be telling. It might mean nothing, but to me, that's something that kind of piqued my interest when I read that part of the story. So the FBI would simply do this to preserve evidence that obviously could be destroyed. And so, we want to do these things to preserve. Now, he was under a subpoena, and he was producing documents pursuant to those subpoenas, but if the FBI, through whatever reason, felt that he wasn't producing all the documents relevant, under subpoena, they may have gone in to seize things before they thought they might be destroyed.
Well, now, this investigation has been continuing, and has been examined as far as his involvement, possible involvement, links to the Russians. Does this seem that he's looked on now as a central figure in this investigation?
Well, he's been investigated, I think, as far back as 2014 about his lobbying efforts on behalf of the Ukrainian government and officials there. Now, this new investigation into the Trump campaign, of course, he was the campaign manager, particularly at the time when the Donald Trump Jr. and Kushner meeting took place, with that Russian lawyer. And I believe Manafort was actually present at that meeting. So, sure, he is a central figure in this investigation, not only the investigation that went back to 2014, but even this new investigation from 2016 and the collusion investigation, as the campaign manager and as someone who was present at that meeting that everybody seems to want to know about, sure, he would be a central figure in this investigation.
How close does this investigation seem to be getting to the White House?
Well, I mean, when you have, the campaign manager of the presidential campaign, it's certainly very close to candidate Trump. Now, I don't know, the question becomes, one of behavior, right, of either criminal behavior or not, when the behavior took place. And it could be, was this most of it took place during the campaign when they were working for, candidate Trump. Obviously, Manafort was let go during the campaign, I believe, prior to the election. And so, I don't know how much of this extends to the actual White House after inauguration. You could have attempts at covering things up where the criminality may have occurred prior to the election, but the cover-up continued after the election. And again, this is all speculation. I don't know that there was any criminality. The investigators, the grand jury and Mr. Mueller's team will determine that, and I have full confidence in them. But if it happened, then you've got, possible cover-up activity in the White House.